In the cockpit was very low at this time after the engines light off. The instruments just a little blurred, but you could read every one of them. Look at those babies come up to speed. This is from the cockpit. Shows how the vehicle moves back and forth there. And this is high-speed photography of the bolts blowing and the solid rocket motors lighting off. And all that, this water spray right there where they're trying to keep things cool and not having much luck. And this is very high-speed photography. Because when it lit off, there was a couple of thumps, and we started moving up very slowly. Look at these beautiful shocks coming out of the main engine at liftoff, and it's moving a lot faster than that. This shows how close it comes to the intertank access arm, which has always worried me some. It's really getting up and going.
John and I expected a real hard kick in the pants. Here shows that what it looked like out John's window.
It's called tower clear right from the cockpit.
But it was actually a really very smooth liftoff with very little shaking associated with it. There's the roll program to head us out over the ocean.
And the vehicle is, the cockpit vibration is such that you can still read all your instruments in there, and maybe 10 cycles per second. This shows the roll program from inside the cockpit out the side window, and it's a thing of beauty. It's just as smooth as glass. There's no accelerations involved, and this shows the vehicle speed picking up. It's probably about ready to go supersonic right now, almost going straight up. And we said that's what it was going to do, but I didn't really believe it would, but it did.
Firing chain is armed. Sound suppression water system activated. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis on a mission to build, resupply, and to do research on the International Space Station.
Houston now controlling. Atlantis begins its penultimate journey to shore up the International Space Station. Atlantis now in the proper alignment for its 8.5-minute ride to orbit. 4.5 million pounds of hardware and humans taking aim on the International Outpost. 30 seconds into the flight. Atlantis almost 2 miles in altitude, almost 6 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center already, traveling 500 miles an hour. The 3 liquid fuel main engines now throttling back to 72% of rated performance, going into the bucket, reducing the stress on the shuttle as it breaks through the sound barrier. 55 seconds into the flight, all systems operating normally, 900 miles an hour. The speed of Atlantis right now, 6 miles in altitude, 9 miles downrange.
Atlantis, go with throttle up.
Go for main engine start. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis on the shoulders of the space shuttle. America will continue the dream.
Roger, roll, Atlantis.
Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis. The space shuttle spreads its wings one final time for the start of a sentimental journey into history. 24 seconds into the flight, roll program complete. Atlantis now heads down, wings level on the proper alignment for its 8.5-minute ride to orbit. 4.5 million pounds of hardware and humans taking aim on the International Space Station. 40 seconds into the flight, the 3 liquid fuel main engines throttling back to 72% of rated performance.
Pretty much like all launches.
Keep saying that.
Well, since you started, Sally, why don't you tell what it felt like there?
Well, actually, I was pleasantly surprised because I thought that the simulator really prepared us well for it. We have a motion-based simulator.
Yay.
Yay for the simulator. That simulates what you're supposed to feel on launch. It gives you the vibration and a lot of the shaking that you get during first stage. And I thought it was very representative. All the way up through SRB separation. It simulated the tail off, the deceleration that you get at the separation of the solids. And it also simulated very well the really smooth ride that you get during second stage on just the main engines. And I guess that we've all commented that that part of the ride is just like just like having a big electric motor behind you. It's that smooth, really smooth.
From my standpoint, being my second flight on the shuttle, it seemed like it was much smoother. That's probably because I wasn't nearly as excited. Maybe I was a little calmer this time. But it really is a super machine. Performs well.
It's really nice to have an experienced tour guide there, too, because he could tell us what was going to happen.
Appropriate for the flight. This is the morning of launch, going through all of our suit-up drill. And each one of us then goes through a pressure check, a suit integrity check, and you see that in progress here for all 5 of us sort of in turn.
The suiting up has added a little time to the morning's event, so we split the crew 2 and then 3 so that we can all arrive at a common state of readiness and walk out together, as you see here.
The trip to the launch pad's relatively quick. It was dark, as you could all see. You get out there, and I think you've heard it said by other crew members that you get out there and there's a little bit different on launch morning because the vehicle seems to be alive. This is actually the main engine start, which occurs roughly 6 to 7 seconds before the liftoff, and then the solid rocket boosters ignite. On board this time, I think I was a little bit more sensitized to everything. I actually felt the main engine ignition inside, and you could feel the twang of the vehicle, and everybody feels the solid rocket boosters ignite because you get lots more noise and vibration, and with the suits, which none of us had worn before, you actually end up bouncing around inside this little environment of your own. Our ascent was pretty much a normal, what we call direct insertion, where we actually did not do an OMS or an orbital maneuvering system 1 burn. We just allowed ourselves to glide on up to basically a 331 by 27 or 47 nautical mile.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And liftoff of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket with Dragon, continuing the resupply chain to the International Space Station.
Towers.
Pitch kick is in.
OSM-GC proceed to section 10.63.
Stage 1 propulsion at nominal. F9 power telemetry on. T plus 60 seconds, altitude 5.5 kilometers, speed 250 meters per second, downrange distance 0.9 kilometers. Stage 1 propulsion continues to perform nominally. Vehicle supersonic and has reached maximum aerodynamic pressure. F9 power and telemetry still nominal.
Landing platform has received acquisition of signal.
T-minus 30 seconds and counting. Standing by for terminal count.
À tous de DDO, attention pour les décomptes finales. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, unité, top.
And we have engine start. And liftoff.
Décollage.
Décollage, liftoff from a tropical rainforest to the edge of time itself. James Webb begins a voyage back to the birth of the universe. punching a hole through the clouds, 20 seconds into the flight. Good pitch program reported.
Trajectoire est nominale.
Vehicle performance is nominal. The Ariane 5 rocket continues to fly uphill in nominal fashion.
After chamber pressure is nominal.
T-plus 33 seconds into the test flight of the inaugural Starship vehicle. Tower cleared, we're into pitch over. Propulsion reports first stage engines nominal. What a sight from the ground cameras at Starbase. We're flying at twice the thrust of the Saturn V heading to space.
Oppositional signal, surface proceed.
We're throttled down and throttled back up. Going through the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure. As the velocity increases, the density of the atmosphere is decreasing.
Max Q.
Lessening stress on the vehicle. The call out, max Q now. Continuing to watch the first stage as we head downrange. A 100 seconds into flight. Our next major activity is going to be shutdown of the first stage. Houston tracking station now acquiring the vehicle. With shutdown, we will get separation of Starship from Super Heavy and ignition of the Starship engines. When Starship separates, we light up 6 engines in a staggered sequence. If all goes well, those 6 engines will burn for almost 6.5 minutes. Onboard view from Starship. And there's views of the Raptor engines on the second stage as we prepare for stage separation. Now after stage separation, the first stage will flip and begin a boost back maneuver for landing in the Gulf. Continuing to fly, 2 minutes 40 seconds. Let's get ready for main engine cutoff.
Booster engine cutoff.
Beginning the flip for stage separation.
As of right now, we are awaiting stage separation, where Starship should separate from the Super Heavy booster.
Yeah, Kate, right now it looks like we saw the start of the flip, but obviously we're seeing from the ground cameras the entire Starship stack continuing to rotate. We should have had separation by now. Obviously, this is does not appear to be a nominal situation.
Yeah, it does appear to be spinning, but I do want to remind everyone that everything after clearing the tower was icing on the cake.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage Vulcain. Allumage AP, décollage. La propulsion est nominale. La propulsion est nominale.
And there we go. We've seen the Ariane 5 lift off, roaring through the tropical sky, carrying Juice on the first leg of her journey into space. And now she has disappeared under the crowd. And see there, in Kourou, there are many places from which to watch these launches. As you can see, the beach, any place. And here we have a glimpse again of the rocket. Raphael, it's an amazing sensation for you as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, even with the clouds, it's just...
La trajectoire est nominale, tous les paramètres bord sont nominaux.
It's really, really always impressive, and it's an emotion to see it. So the
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, engine ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff of Falcon Heavy and Psyche on a mission to a metal asteroid in deep space to study the building blocks of our planet's inner space.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
M1D chamber pressure is nominal.
View there from the onboard camera on the booster. Beautiful shot there as it goes through the clouds.